again, and I'm going to go over today how to use Google Drive and just kind of give some pointers about how Google Drive works and some kind of cool things you can do with it. So, I'm going to start by opening up Google Chrome and I'm going to use my Delta Kappa Gamma Gmail that I made. So, as long as you have a Gmail account, super easy to make, there's a video on that as well. You have a Google Drive attached to that. So, think of it kind of as your file explorer, which is what you find on your computer. So, everything here is my stuff for school. I have my DKG stuff, family pictures, that type of thing, tons of books. And worksheets and such, but everything is stuck here on this computer. So I always try to take the important things, put them in a file, and make a backup copy on my Google Drive. You get 15 gigs of space and storage on your Google Drive, and it can be for pictures, it can be documents, Word documents, PowerPoints, it can be PDF files, Excel, anything on your computer, pretty much. So as long as you have plenty of storage, and it does take a minute to get that 15 filled up. So it's a pretty good amount. So, for an example, I'm going to use my personal email, which is hfulmer33 at Gmail. And then I have a school email at Washita High School where I teach home ec, family consumer science, excuse me. And I'll use that one as well just to have two different accounts so you can see the difference between the two. And then I have my DKG account. So, if we wanted to, this is kind of a neat thing, take a photo album or share photos, documents, that type of thing from this computer to 100 people, however many. We can do that very easily and with just a few steps on a Google Drive, as long as the other people have a Gmail account. And sometimes it's just nice to have a backup Gmail account or just an extra email so you know where that stuff is going. For instance, I have made this Delta Kappa Gamma account, so I'm keeping all my DKG stuff there. Plus, I get that 15 gigs attached to it, so I know when I save stuff or I send my email out, I'm going to start using this DKG account. It's Heather Fulmer, DKG at gmail.com. And that's where all of my stuff for DKG is just going to stay. And that's kind of nice. And then I have my school account, which is the things I use for my classrooms and how I email parents and students. And that's just my Washita stuff. And I personally like that better just so I keep the two separate and I don't lose things or lose emails or documents. So it's just kind of a good idea. And then I have my personal, and that's for just all my extra junk that I have. So we went on a vacation. I use that for my vacation email. If I have to put one in, I'll use my personal hfulmer33 Gmail just as kind of a backup. And an extra one I have that's not related to work. It's only for home use, personal use, that type of thing. And I do use it a lot, but I don't lose my stuff in my email. So I know where I'm looking and which email things should be attached to. Okay, so let's hop right into this. So here's my just Google page, and I'm going to start by looking up here at my apps. And so the apps, Google Apps is going to have your Gmail, your Google Drive, Docs, Forms, that type of thing. So Google Docs, Google Forms, Slides, and this one down here. Let's see if I find it. Google Sheets. Google Sheets is like Microsoft Excel. Google Docs is very much like Microsoft Word, and Google Slides is very much like PowerPoint, Microsoft PowerPoint. And they go together very well, and you can convert between the two. So if you use Microsoft Word a lot, you probably have purchased Microsoft Office, which can be a little costly sometimes. Or if you don't want to pay that, a lot of students, for instance, use Google Docs because it will convert to a Microsoft Word document if you send it, but it's free. So and it's attached to your Gmail account. So we look up here and Google Drive is always going to look like this. It's going to be a kind of a triangle shape and have the yellow and blue and green. Anytime you see this on a document or a website or anything, maybe somebody sends you and you can click on it, that means you can take whatever that is in an email or on that website, and it will download and go to your Google Drive. So you don't even have to save, you don't have to get a flash drive, you don't have to do anything. As long as you have internet access, you should be able to get to your Google Drive. So this is why it's so great. Let's say that I go to actually this happened. I went to a workshop. I had my computer, and I had needed my documents off of it because I had it saved in a folder, and I left my charger at home. So my computer was getting low. I went to my bag to get my cord out to charge my computer, and I did not have it. I was like, oh no. So I hopped on my phone. Luckily, I had backed everything up and saved a copy of it in my Google Drive, and I was able to access all the documents. But just as a kind of a reminder, make sure it's in the right email. If you have multiple Gmail accounts, that it's in the right place that you want it and attached to the email that you want it to be attached with. So we're going to think of Google Drive as the file explorer on the computer. Okay, so here's my file explorer. So I can see I've made folders. Not the most organized yet because I downloaded a bunch of stuff yesterday, but I have books, I have my pictures, I have documents, I have my desktop stuff. I have PDF files up here, my transcript. So we'll start with my transcript. This is kind of one of those important things I'm probably going to use a lot. I'm still working on my doctorate degree, and I want to make sure I have this bad boy anywhere that I am. So whether it's on my phone or if I'm at a computer lab or maybe I'm at a place that has access to Wi-Fi and computers or a tablet, I can access this document as long as it's attached to my Google Drive and in my Google Drive. So Google Drive looks a lot like the File Explorer. And these are some examples that I have. I'm going to get rid of all of this real quick. These were just examples that I was kind of playing around with yesterday. So I'm going to remove everything and make it look like a brand new, and I will probably use these later, a brand new Google Drive that has not been used at all. And when you first set up your email, it's going to look like this. Okay. And it says you can use Google Docs, Google Sheets, slides, and more. Or you can use, it'll hold Microsoft Office and hundreds of more items and types of files. Just remember, video files are going to be very large usually, and pictures, sometimes if they're professionally done, they're a very large file because it's so detailed and has a lot of detail in the picture. It's going to be a very big picture file. But that's okay. There's ways to go about that. And how to make it smaller, but we'll talk about that later. So this is my drive, and I know that I can kind of hover over my picture here, my Google account, and it says Heather Fulmer DKG at Gmail. So I'm in the correct place that I want to be, and it will always show up. All your stuff should show up on the Google page right up here that's attached to this account whenever you log in with your account. So I'm logged in with the correct account that I want. And I'm going to show you a few ways of how to use this. So just like on your computer, you can right click and make a new folder. Or Google does this a lot where you can get to the same type of place, but in different ways. I can click up here, new, and make a new folder. Either way, same thing. I'm going to make a new folder. So this is going to be my example 1. And there's my folder. So once I click into this folder, I don't have any files yet. I can right click and I can upload a document. Well, I really need this transcript very bad, so I don't lose it. And I had downloaded, there it is. This is in my computer, or on my computer actually. So I'm accessing my files in my computer, things that I downloaded. There's my transcript, and I'm going to open it, put it right here, and here it is. So now if I travel or need my transcript for my phone, I can log into my email, to my Gmail account, and go up here to the students call it waffle, looks like a little waffle, to the apps. When I click on it, I can click on my drive, and I will look and see this example 1 where I have my transcript. So it looks like that. Okay, another way to do that actually is, I'm going to split my screen here, is to just click, drag, and drop. Very, very easy. So my daughter has downloaded Taco Bell coloring sheets to my computer, and maybe I need to make sure she has an extra copy and access to that if we're traveling. So I'm going to click and drag and just come over here and drop it in my Google Drive. So now it has uploaded and made a copy in my Google Drive for me. I still have my copy on my computer, totally fine. But if I forget my computer, or maybe we're traveling and she's like, I really want to color, she loves to color, then I have a copy of it in my Google Drive. So it works very, very much like File Explorer on your computer, except this way you have access to it anytime, anywhere, as long as you have internet and a device that has internet capabilities, which is wonderful. And it's a great way to not lose things and have a copy of it kind of backed up in a place just in case your computer crashes, or maybe it's not charged and you forget your charger at home. So it's a nice backup plan just in case as well. Another thing I have on my notes to talk to you about is photos and photo albums. So for my school email, I do a lot of emailing myself just so I don't lose documents, or maybe I'm on my phone and traveling, or I'm like, ooh, that's a really great worksheet, or maybe a picture that I want to use. And so I'll save it then on my phone and then I'll email it to myself. But I could go to my Google Drive on my phone and just download it there, put it there. That way I would have it on my computer as well. But let's say that we have a family reunion. This is a great example because we've done this before. So family reunions coming up, and we want to make sure that we have all the photos or make it a slideshow during the family reunion. So you can email your family members, and they can have one common place to keep those photos. So I'm going to show you how to make a folder. Then we're going to share that folder. Works great for some of our facts teachers. We do share a lot of resources, worksheets, that type of thing. DKG, same thing. You can do surveys, you can do PowerPoints, you can do, if you're going from state to national conference, you probably want to have a backup just in case of the presentation you want. So it's a great way to make sure you can share it at anywhere with anybody. So we'll pretend that this is going to be family photos. I'm going to right click in my Google Drive and I'm going to make a folder, and it's going to be family pictures. Family pics. Okay, so this is where all of my pictures, they're going to go. And I'm going to share this with my family. So I'm going to right click on it. There's different ways to do this as well. This is just, to me, the easiest. I'm going to click share. And this should give us an option to put emails. So I'm going to say Heather.Fulmer at Washita.SD is cousin number 1. And H.Fulmer33 is cousin number 2. Now, an important thing here to look at is where it says editor on the side. If I want people to be able to add or change, but that also means delete any editing access whatsoever, you make them an editor, totally fine. They can organize, add, edit files, which if and they can delete. But if it's a student, for example, I do not give my students access to my stuff. They can view it, they can see it, they can download it on their own to their device, but they can't change it. And that's really important. So you might want to share a photo album just for people to see. That's it. But we're going to say we want people to add to this collection of photos or documents, whatever they have. So I'm going to make these cousin 1 and cousin 2 an editor. So please add photos. Okay. I'm going to send it. This is going to show up in their email. So once they get there, I'm going to go ahead and click into just that file. And you can see up here that it has been shared. There's a little people picture, and it will show you who it's been shared with. So I own it. DKG Heather, she owns it. But these other 2 people are editors. Okay. So if you look at let me go back real quick. The example 1, my transcript and stuff, there's not the little person, the little icon in the corner of the file folder. So it has not been shared. But I do see a person here. So I know somebody, or maybe many people, have access to this file here. So this is my picture file. Well, I'm going to find some amazing pictures. I really don't know what all I have. I know my kids. Here is stressed out Heather COVID number one. And here is, I'm going to upload another file, the regular before COVID picture of Heather where she has less wrinkles and less gray hair. Um, Picture number two. So this is our family reunion picture folder. Now that means these other people up here, they can see this and they're going to add to this as well. I'm going to show you on my phone how they can do that. So on my phone, I'm going to log in to one of the other, I'm going to be a cousin. I'm going to log into this email and look at, it doesn't matter which one, I guess. Right now my phone pulls up and I'm in my school email. I was checking it. I have a workshop to go to tomorrow, actually in Dallas. So I'm going to click on the email link, which will go to this file folder only. And I'm going to say, oh, I have stuff in here. I'm going to upload my pictures as well. And so once I look through my pictures on my device, for instance, this is my account at home or at school, wherever. I'm cousin number one, I believe. I think, I'm not sure. But so a different person anyway. And I'm going to put a picture of, ooh, I was at Dollar Tree and I found some really good craft stuff because I want to have make wreaths, and I have a wreath making course actually I'm doing for a national park. Now, this is from my phone. So now DKG Heather, cousin DKG, she has access to the picture that I'm uploading. So you can keep going and going and going and keep adding and adding and adding the photos that you want or documents that you want. So instead of having to save a flash drive and share it or do an email one at a time, because sometimes our email does restrict how large of a file or how many we can put on one email. We can just throw it all in this one place since we shared it, and the people who you shared it with have access. They can continue to share that file with other people. So just kind of make a note if you're taking notes that you want to be careful not just to share it with anybody, but people that you trust. At the same time, cousin number one does not know what they are doing, and they're just going to accidentally delete stuff. So this is that editing property where the other people that you share it with, so cousin number one just deleted my pictures. The great thing about deleting stuff in a Google Drive is it goes to the trash and it stays there for 30 days. So really, you can get rid of stuff. I mean, exit out of all this mess, but you really don't lose it, because it can be put back, and that's the great thing too. So I have to go back into my drive on my phone, and I can just stick those back on there. Not a big deal, but it does get really frustrating if people keep deleting items, and you expect them to be there, but they're not. So, and well, here they are again. So they're really not lost. I can put them back in there. Yes, I want to move it back into family pictures. Yes, okay. So there is that. And then I'm going to look at my notes real quick. And I think that's kind of the gist of it. When something is shared with you, you can see right now I have one thing shared with me from an outside, from a different account, which is the Dollar Tree wreath pictures that I was so excited about. But this is only things coming into you. So on the other cousin one, cousin two, the things shared with them would be the documents or pictures or files that I shared with them. So they're mine, so they're not going to be shared with me because I put them on there from my computer or my device. A starred document, I think I do not have one. That's okay. A starred document is going to look like this. I'm going to right click. I'm going to do my transcript. Right click on it. I'm going to add to start. So this is you don't want everything here. You want your major, really important things in this starred as a start option. So transcript, super important. Definitely want that on here. And you have your recent. So this is kind of Google Drive. Now, there's also the option where you can see your Google Calendar. which you can put on your phone as well. And it will be both places. You see the things you want to keep, you can add to that. And then you see tasks. So maybe there's a to-do list and we want to make sure we get these family pictures in by a certain date. We can add a task. There's tons of add-ons depending on what you're looking for. But this is kind of the main thing. Now, I'm going to show you my school account that I have been working on. It does not look very organized, and it is not very organized because we are in a major overhaul of our units and plans and that type of thing. So my Google Drive for school, this is almost, I'm sure it's going to be very embarrassing. Um, there we go. Sign in. Okay, so here's my Google Drive for my Washita school account. There's a lot. I mean, a lot. There's my state baseball programs that I made for and softball, and there's a lot of just differentiated instruction, Google Forms, and this is a semester test that I made for this past year. There's my curriculum maps, and I've used 52.85 gig. Now, as a school account, teachers and people in certain industries do get a little bit more without having to pay. But if you do go over that 15 gigs, you can pay for an additional storage amount. But I've known people who will just make a Google, it'll be something like first name dot last name 1 at gmail.com, 15 gigs. First name dot last name 2 at gmail.com, another 15 gigs. And then so there's 30 for free, but you have two separate accounts. And they have, I think they're on number 8, I think. It's a lot, but big video files, and that's okay. But you just have to remember where things are, and maybe each year you make a new Gmail account, so you get 15 gigs for that year, and then the next year a new one, and add a number on or something like that. So just make sure you keep up with it. Not a bad thing though. Okay, so that's kind of all I have for this. Here's my Peru trip. I'm going to share, just so you can see the other side of it, my entire mission work, 2017 mission work here. So I'm going to send it to, there I am, as an editor. Well, let's just do a viewer and a commenter. So the pictures you could actually write on the outside, like a little comment, looks like a sticky note type thing or something, little text box. You can put a comment to the side of it. But this is what I do for students. I'm going to only make them a viewer. If I want to email access to this Peru 2017 folder, I can click on copy link and it will actually give me, let me paste it up here and you can see it'll give me a link to this drive. And it works for if you're making a website or something like that. But right now, like, we're going to only share with people we know because we don't want everybody having access to our drive and a file in our drive. And yes, it is outside my organization. It always checks and lets me know. Okay. So I will exit out of my school account and I will go back over to this DKG account. So to find what I just sent, I'm going to look at my email, and here it is. Here's the folder I just shared. I emailed it because I typed in my email, emailed it to this Heather DKG, and it's from my Washita SD. So I'm going to open the folder. Here's all my Peru trips. So when I look back in my drive, so I've opened that specific folder right now. These poor babies did not know what digital thermometers were. They had never seen technology. We were in a city, but these people had come from deep in the jungle. Then we went deep in the jungle. It was a whole thing. So it was very humbling, but very rewarding. But when I go back to my drive, just for me, I see my stuff. But if I look at the shared, there's that Peru trip because it's not my original folder. It's in my shared items. Still have access to it. I can still right click on it, add it to my starred if that's one of those really important things we need to keep. And here it is. So it's a great thing. And just be careful that you don't give people access to rename, move, delete. But I can download the picture. I can make a copy for myself of the picture. But if you notice remove or rename or share or show file location move to, I can't do that. I cannot edit um, the Heather Fulmer, the Washita, the teacher account. I can't do that because she didn't give DKG Heather the access and the editing rights to do so. I was a viewer only. So that's the great thing about Google Drive as well. You can decide what people can or can't do. Well, I hope this helps, and I'm going to hop off here and get this video finished. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email that Heather Fulmer, DKG at gmail.com. And I thank you for your time, and I hope this has been helpful to you.